Hey everyone, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. I'm excited to work on the next couple of pages for my Christmas mini album, what others call the December Daily. So in this video, I'll be decorating the pages for November 30th and December 1st. So that was the last little bit of that little waterfall flap thing that still needed to be done. And so I left that for later, which was then today. And you can find the previous videos here on my channel. Just go to either the December Daily or something like that playlists to find it more directly. And I could always leave a link in the description box below. For this project, I made a mini album that serves as my base and that I only need to fill with papers and photos and embellishments. And by the way, I'm sharing this mini album as free silhouette or SVG cut files on my blog, MistyHilltops.com. So if you'd like to create an album like this or an album for any other theme, it doesn't have to be anything Christmas related, you can pick up the files from this website, MistyHilltops.com. It's fairly simple to put together, but each part of the album comes with a video tutorial just in case. And even if you don't own a cutting machine, you can still use the measurements to trim the pieces by hand because everything comes with measurements and you can easily check it out that way. Anyway, back to this Christmas album. So I have this pocket that was remaining that I needed to still decorate, and so there was a paper that I wanted to go behind, but I didn't want to use a full-size paper if most of it will be just covered up by the pocket. So I just cut it slightly bigger than the parts that will be actually visible and then tucked it behind the pocket there, which was a little tricky because well, I have these flaps to glue the pockets on. I like because that gives the pocket just a little more space, and so I had to get it between there. And then here is the label that I want to use to do my journaling on, maybe even put some photos there or something. So this will go inside the pocket. I just put the book away because it is quite big and takes a lot of my workspace, and so this gives me a little more space to work with. And so I'm just using some of my stamps here. And the other part of that, the pocket, so the top part of the pocket, I decorated with my title and then the date and just an embellishment piece there. Usually those are labels that I get from the Silhouette store. My library is full of such labels and printables and stuff so that I can, well, they're not meant as printables, but I turn them into printables because they just work really nicely as embellishments for my album, because I do easily get papers and paper pads, but I don't easily get embellishment parts, and so that makes it easy for me because all I need is to recolor it for every year, and I can reuse these things and they look different every year. It doesn't look like I'm using the same thing over and over again. So anyway, turns out that I have used this for quite some time already, and I'm still happy with that way. So here is that insert. It's actually a Laurie Whitlock background label kind of thing. So I think it's just called like a background or something. And so I can easily resize it, and so I resized it to fit exactly where in my pocket. Now here I'm going to start to work on the first actual December page. So this one will get a full page on its own. The first November, a couple of days, they were just preparation for Christmas and all that, setting up everything. And so I wanted to use a little space for that. But here I use a full page for one day. And this is an envelope flap. So, and I want to use a little string. It's like like those stringed envelopes or something. So I wanted to use a string, and so here I'm preparing where I should put my, where I should put those little paper rings there that will have the string. And often I do cut these things with the Silhouette, and then I automatically include the hole that needs to go there, but because this one actually I was just using some of my cardstock that I ran through one of my embossing folders, and so you can still see that there is a bit of embossing there. And so because of that, I needed to just measure things by hand, and I really kind of like when it looks well and not just eyeball it, so I just measured it to look about equal on the page. And then here is the eyelets. I will use eyelets for this, and that's where the hammer comes in as well. And then I'm using some baker's twine, and I will tuck that behind the eyelet there, or behind that little ring. But here, this one doesn't need it yet, so I can just go ahead and put the eyelet there. And then this one, though, I will use the eyelet basically to fix that baker's twine behind it. And so this is a little bit of I have to work carefully because it'll come out because it's obviously not yet attached. So I'm trying to pull it so that it sits tightly tucked behind there, and is well fixated with the eyelet then. So that's what I pay attention to here right now. That's why it takes a little longer than the other one, but it's easy. It's not a big hard thing to do there. So then I'm done with the eyelets, and I can start to glue these down, but they also still get some decoration parts there. I have these ice skates. I keep forgetting where these come from. There might be a Spellbinders, I think. This might be a Spellbinders die cut set. I have so many dies at this point that I just keep forgetting and which brand they're from. Some of them are non-brands, but some of them are brands. So anyway, I'm just using a stapler to tuck them with the snowflake there onto the background paper there. And so because of that, I wanted to make sure I have it tucked or stapled on before I actually start gluing it down onto the flap. So this one goes right there. Actually, I was glad I recognized that I could have just as well glued it in the wrong way, because inside there's already a pocket and it needs to be a certain way in a certain direction, especially because this is an album that just is already put together, so I can't just have it upside down. So I was really, really glad I noticed at last minute that it was going to be put in the right place. I did make the mistake with one of the papers that I had put upside down. It didn't really matter. It's not all that directional, that part of the paper, so it didn't matter that much. But in hindsight, I was like, oh, I did it there. Anyways, then I have this, these are Tim Holtz Alpha, and these are some just Christmas sentiments. And what I did with the Alpha is I have this just a simple striped stamp, and I used red on it, and then just with red ink, and then stamped it, and then I cut it out, so it does kind of give like the candy stripe look there. Now I'm trying to decide about how long the baker's twine needs to be so that I can cut it off and finally let go of. I don't like to waste my materials because they are not easy for me to get a hand on. So anyway, then here is another part. This is just to show that it's December 1st, and then the outside part of this is done. Now I can go on to the inside, and there's that pocket, and so here I just have a strip of paper that will go right on the pocket there. It's a small pocket. That means it goes all along, so it's 6 inches wide, but it's not very deep. And so then I have some embellishments there. Then this is the background piece of paper that will go right in the background there. And I have to get it in there. That's a bit tricky because you see there is a kind of like a pine twig there. So, but it wasn't too bad. And then that's all done and glued down. This part is really directional, so obviously there's no missing it. The other piece of paper, it should have gone the other way, but it's not a big deal. You wouldn't really recognize it. So anyway, then this part is where I have a little more writing, and I'm using some of my dies to do that. So here, actually there's this, just sometimes my trimmer doesn't cut the paper if the paper is not the best quality, I guess, or something. Some papers cut nicely and other papers, they just fray a little bit. So here I have from one of my die cut sets, several. There are 3 different die cut sets that I used here for this title, and then there are also the bells that come from like a Christmas bauble or ornament, Christmas ornament kind of die cut set. So there are different die cut sets that I'm using for this one, but here I'm just needing to put together the word December there that I cut from black cardstock. And this is where I should, the foliage should have been coming down from the top. Now it just comes up from the bottom. Not a big deal, but I did notice after the fact. So sometimes there are mistakes that happen, but I'm always glad when there are minor mistakes that no one afterward will ever realize or recognize, and I'll forget in just a couple of months that was ever a wrong way. So anyway, here I have to just glue, and I make sure that the letters attach so that it really looks like it's been written on there. And then I have these other 2 pieces there that will make up the title that will be inside there. And that would then be my first page with the title, and then a couple more embellishments. I will probably even go back and embellish things a little more once I get further into this month. But at this stage, I still have more pages that I have not thought about how I will put them together or anything. So here I'm trying to decide which bell should go with which bell, and decide I will leave it with the original way that I had put them together, paired them up. So then I'm ready to glue down this piece of paper onto the top part of the flap there, and then I can do the other parts there. So originally I thought I could put the bell there, but I feel like that the other 2 bells are in the same place, and so I thought maybe if I put the candy stuff there, and or the candy label there, and then put the bells in a different place so that it just kind of has a little bit of a change from the top flap. So I decided to go with that, but it really doesn't matter all that much. But this is pretty much my page done. Now here I am I felt these, I liked if they would just hang, but because anyone who looks through this book will be handling this page and will be flipping it open and closed and all that. So I just thought it would be much better for these skates to be glued down. So here I'm going through some of my journaling cards. They're all cards that I make myself and will be sharing on my blog, mistyhilltops.com, as freebies. And so here I found a journaling card that can go with this day, and this is my page done. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I hope you have a great day. Come back to watch more parts, because I'll be sharing more as I go through the month of December here. All right, have a great day. Bye.